Good morning, boys and girls, and you're welcome to yet another session on A01 Transactions, Essential English Language Skills. We were talking about L1 interference in the last session. We just started. We'll continue with that. I hope you remember I told you about what is this L1 interference. It comes under pronunciation. Now, we all have learned, or we all speak Malayalam because it is our mother tongue. And that is the first language we study, L1. And when it comes to a second language like English, there are certain interferences of mother tongue pronunciation when we speak English. L1 interference, or it is otherwise known as negative transfer, is the influence of Malayalam, that is L1, while Malayali speakers speak English. And we have, as I have told you, we have identified 10 key areas where this influence happens. Now, before I continue with the L1 interferences, first and second we have already dealt with in the last session. Before I continue with the third and the others, I would like to correct a mistake of mine which I committed when I was trying to explain the consonant sounds, if you remember. Now, among consonant sounds, while introducing 24 of them, I had just left out 2 of them, telling you that we will deal with those 2 at the end. But at the end, I forgot to introduce those 2 consonants to you. I will do that first and then we'll go to L1 interferences. Now, the 7th and 8th consonants, they are, the first one is the sound we have in words like judge, jump, James, the sound j sound. Actually, the symbol for the j sound is d plus j. This is the sound j, which you have in judge and jump, geometry, geography, j sound. The next one is the sound you have in words like church, chin, champion. Here the sound is ch sound, and that ch sound is represented by the symbol t and sh. Ch. I hope you get these sounds. The first one is the sound j, which you have in judge, jump, geometry, geography, and the second one is the ch sound, which you have in church, chin, champion, etc. Those are the 2 consonants which I left out while I was trying to explain to you these 24 consonant sounds. Please take a note of that. Now, coming back to L1 interference, L1 interference, L1 interference, or it is also known as negative transfer. I explained to you what exactly is L1 interference. When one learns a second language, after acquiring a first language, that is mother tongue, features of the first language interfere with that of the second language. This is called L1 interference or negative transfer. This happens in us, that is, when we speak English, for whom Malayalam is the first language. And I told you 2 areas. Now we are going to deal with 10 of them, and out of that I explained to you the first 2. First one was pronouncing silent letters. Since all letters written in Malayalam are pronounced, when we speak English, we have a tendency to pronounce all the letters in the word. Say for example, in a word like bridge, it is bridge, but we Malayalis tend to pronounce the word with the d sound in it. Bridge. No, it is bridge. In the same way, we have other letters also. In a word like climb, the correct pronunciation of the word is climb, but we tend to pronounce it as climb. No, that is silent. Again, we have the same in honor. It is honor. We have christen. It is christen and not Christian. And again, we have a word like poignant. It is poignant, not poignant. The same way, we have the p sound silent in a word like coup. It is not coop, but coo. You get it. The second one was, we have the tendency to give more force when letters are used 2 times. Say for example, in a word like summer, we Malayalis tend to pronounce the word as summer, whereas the correct pronunciation is summer. Same thing happens in apparatus. We say apparatus. No, it is apparatus. No doubling of the sound p in English, but in Malayalam we have. This is influence of L1 interference in our speaking of English. Now going to the third one, going to the third interference, it is strong articulation of weak function class words. We tend to speak them in a strong way. For example, I am coming is the Malayali pronunciation, whereas it should be I'm coming. In a phrase like can I go, Malayali speakers of English say can I go. Actually the pronunciation is can I go, can I go. So strong articulation of weak function class words are spoken in their strong form. That is another influence or interference of L1 Malayalam in the speakers of English. While Malayali speakers speak English. The third one, the sixth one is, first one I told you, first one was pronouncing silent letters. Second one, pronunciation of double letters, per, le, and all that. Third one was that of the problem of strong articulation of weak function class words. Next, fourth interference is pronouncing words without stress shift. This I had explained to you while I was trying to tell you about word stress in English. You remember, some words in English have the same spelling but used as different class words. For example, the word project is both noun and verb, and while using it as a noun, we put the stress on the first syllable. You know what is a syllable? The word project has two syllables, pro and ject, and in that particular word, if it is used as a noun, the stress is on the first syllable, project. Whereas if it is used as a verb, the stress shifts from the first syllable to the second syllable and it becomes project, and project. But unfortunately, because of the influence of L1, mother tongue, while Malayalis speak English, we tend not to differentiate between these two stress shift, project and project, and we say project. So that is another thing. Pronouncing words without stress shift. In English, some words which are used as nouns, adjectives and verbs have same spelling but different pronunciation because stress changes in accordance with their class. But most Keralites pronounce these alike irrespective of their change in function. This happens in words like absent, adjective. But when it becomes a verb, it is absent. The same way I gave you the example of project and project, and also the example which I gave you, conduct, if it is a adjective, but when it is used as a verb, it is conduct and conduct. I hope you find the difference. The next interference, L1 interference, is spelling pronunciation of phonologically conditioned plurals. Yeah. Now, how do we normally get plural of a noun? Now, for example, in a word like cow, to get the plural, we add an S to it, right? So, we get the plural by adding S. In some cases, it is, say for example, box, box. To get the plural, we add ES to it. So, S and ES, they are called ED also, that past tense morpheme, ED. But here, there is a problem with Malayali speakers of English because they tend to stick to the spelling for pronunciation, but this is slightly different. English has three distinct phonologically conditioned morphemes. Say for example, in a word like rose, R-O-S-E, rose. To get the plural, we add S to it, but the pronunciation becomes different. The pronunciation of the word is roses, ziz, roses. this difference is not made by Malayali speakers of English. In the same way, dog, the plural is D-O-G plus S, but we pronounce it as dogs, whereas the correct pronunciation is dogs. Because we don't have this Z sound in Malayalam. That is the problem. That is the interference. That is how it is interfere. That is how it interferes with the Malayali speakers of English. In the same way, differently is book plus S, but it is not books but books. Sir sound, book sound. And past tense morpheme I was talking about. Usually we get the past tense by adding ed to the root verb. Ed. Now, this ed is always pronounced as de in Malayali English, whereas English has again three distinct phonologically conditioned morphemes for ed. Now, for example, root plus ed. It is not rooted but rooted. Id it is, rooted. In the same way, in a word like R-U-B, rub, we get the past tense by adding R-U-B-B-E-D, and the pronunciation for the past tense is rubbed. De is added. In the first one, it is id is added. Id. The second one, rubbed. De is added. And in the case of L-O-O-K, look, the past tense is by adding ed again, but the pronunciation is looked. T is added for ed. See, in these three ed cases, we have three versions of past tense pronunciation. First one, rooted, id. Second one, rubbed, adding de sound at the end. And third one, looked, the t sound is added to it. Now, next one, the sixth one is intrusive Y. This is also a big problem with Malayali speakers of English. Unnecessarily, we bring in a y sound in many words. I don't know whether you have noticed. See, in a word like CAP, we tend to pronounce the word with a y inside, cap, which is wrong. Now, what is this intrusive Y? This is another challenge of Malayali speakers arrives as a result of lack of certain corresponding sounds in Malayalam. For example, see, in Malayalam we don't have the equivalent for a. We have a sound in Malayalam, but say, for example, in a word like cat, bat, we have the a sound, but we don't have an equivalent in Malayalam. So, Malayali speakers of English tend to pronounce, say for example, in a word like C-A-T, it is cat, but there is a tendency of mispronouncing the word as cat, which is wrong. It should be cat. In the same way, C-A-P, cap, wrong, cap. In the same way, we pronounce the letter H as H, which is wrong. It is H. And we also have the problem in F, A, B, C, D, E, F it is, but Malayali speakers tend to pronounce that sound as F, A, B, C, D, E, F. Wrong, it is F. So this is about the intrusive Y. Intrusive Y. Now, this is the sixth one, and we have 4 more interferences to deal with. The seventh one is the phonetic fossil. What is this phonetic fossil? Phonetic fossil has, English has a large number of loan words adopted from different languages, foreign languages, with little or no modification, that have become integrated into everyday use of Malayalam. Now, these English words have become part and parcel of Malayalam language. Say, for example, in a word like the very common word like bus, the public transport, we tend to pronounce it as bus, but it is bus. Bus is actually an English word. We have adopted that word as Malayalam. So there are so many words which we use in Malayalam, which are actually English words, and English words which are borrowed from other languages also. The pronunciation of certain have a negative, here we have a negative influence of mother tongue while speaking those words. For example, the word an egg dish, it is very common among Malayalis. We say omelette. Omelette. Now, it's a good word, but actually the pronunciation, we mispronounce the word. The word should be omelette. Omelette, not late. Omelette. Omelette. In the same way, we have the word, we mispronounce the word divorce. We mispronounce it as divorce. It is, the correct pronunciation of the word is divorce. Divorce. Divorce we use in Malayalam also. And another one is that of diabetes. Oh, he's a diabetes patient. No, the actual pronunciation of the word is diabetes. 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 Now, please take a note of this change of pronunciation or influence of Malayalam among Malayali speakers of English. Now, with this, I stop this session and we'll continue the same thing, that is the remaining part of L1 interference in the next session that we meet. So, till we meet in the next session, take care, goodbye.